I will remember you. Will you remember me? Don't let your love pass you by. Weep not for memory.
All right. So, I know it's been a while since I did a video. So I'm going to talk about the Matheson thing, and then I'll talk about why I haven't made a video in a while afterwards. So the people that just want to hear about Matheson, I'll get that out of the way first. Are you... This is actually the first time I've really allowed myself to react. Now that I'm thinking about it. Are you, what the fuck is Pittsburgh thinking? I didn't make a video about Zito getting hired. Do I need to? Really? Is there anything that I or anybody else needs to say? I think it was Charles on Twitter said it succinctly. Give him GM of the year right now because. All right, sure, okay, man. Whatever you think, Pittsburgh. Look, I know Matheson's got some. Maybe they're gonna make him a winger, right? What the hell do we know? Maybe they're gonna make him a winger and he'll come back and kick our ass and score goals. Shit. I stopped laughing about that one. All right, so we give up Matheson and Sevier. We get Hornquist in return. Obviously, Sevier, you feel like you're going to miss him on the PK a bit. Hornquist is a grinder, basically, at this point in his career. He's a bottom six guy, so we lose a bottom six, we get a bottom six. But we had to unload Matheson. It just absolutely had to happen. And the fact that we were able to do it without really giving up, I mean, we gave him nothing, right? We gave up Matheson and Sevier. Sevier is a nice guy, good player, and we will miss his effort level, but that's a no-brainer, right? So a couple of things happened before the whole trade went down. It was kind of rumored, and then there was this whole glitch that was supposed to be holding up the trade. And what it ended up being is they couldn't reach Hornquist to determine if he would approve going to Florida or not. And I got to thinking about that. I'm like, well, ain't that a kick in the nuts, right? Because they made the trade basically public before they even told the guy. So he's got a no-trade clause, but at the point where everybody in the world knows that the trade is going down, what's he going to do? Look like an asshole and say no? At that point, it really kind of put him in a position where, I mean, I hope he wanted to come, right? Don't get me wrong. I hope that he's thrilled to be here and wants to play for Coach and the whole deal. But if he didn't, what choice did he have at that point? I mean, he technically could have said no, yeah. But then, once everybody knows you're on the trading block, your value's diminished. And they kind of put him in a spot there. So the other part to that is I saw somebody, I think it was Jacob, mentioned on Twitter, he was thinking about, he was kind of doing an analysis there thinking, maybe we should flip Hornquist. And I got to thinking, that might have also been part of the glitch. That maybe, later on, it wouldn't surprise me if Hornquist said, knowing the Panthers' history, if he said, yeah, I'll go to Florida, but they got to agree to let me play at least a season or two before they think about trading me. I don't know if he has the power to do that. I don't know how contractually that would work, but it wouldn't surprise me if he wanted to at least get a gentleman's handshake from the Panthers that they're at least going to let him finish for a year or two without just turning around and flipping him somewhere else. So don't be surprised if he ends up sticking for good. Obviously, look, Mike Matheson, I wish the dude the best. I mean, I know I ripped him a lot, but I also would give him kudos when he played well. I have not seen a player in a long time regress as much as he did. I have no idea what happened. I know some people think that the whole thing went down with his suspension and all of that kind of affected him mentally, but you've got to be stronger than that. His game just went to shit. Whatever the reason is, he absolutely is the definition of player that needed a change of scenery. So good for him. He's going to go to it. He goes, whoa, I almost knocked my booze over. He's going to a good team. They got a good chance, obviously, of being in the playoffs again next year. We're going to kick our ass if they made the playoffs with Matheson and we don't. But don't even get me started there. It's way too early for me to start drinking. What else do we got? I obviously, you know, the free agency trades, there's a lot more going on. I've seen people on Twitter talking about we are not done. You know, I know I ended the season kind of bitching a lot about Barkov and everything. I don't think Barkov is going anywhere. I don't think Zito came here to trade Barkov. And, you know, with all the emotion of the season and everything gone, I think rightfully so. I think what they need to do is take the captain away from him and surround him with a freaking halfway decent rest of the team, especially, you know, a real third line, and not a fourth line that's just completely, you know, a sequoia. Yeah, that's Brian Boyle. Anyway, all right, so if you follow me on Twitter or you see me on Facebook on the groups and everything, you know what happened. I'm still going to get into it. But if for you guys that just watch the videos, I have to explain myself, and I hope that you guys will give me the chance to do it. Basically, a lot of things kind of crashed down on me at once. You know, I put a lot of effort into the videos. You guys know that, right? And I'll be straight with you guys, okay? It takes a toll on my personal life. You know, I spend at least an hour a day on game days thinking of an introduction. Takes me at least an hour and a half usually to film the introduction. Then I watch the game. I record the segments during the game. For some people who don't realize it, I'm not putting that all together after the game. That's as the game is happening. Some people think I'm just acting. That is, the period ends, I don't watch the intermission. I come in here, I record after the first period, after the second period, etc. So I'm not just, I don't even get, like sometimes I'm like running to be able to just take a leak before the game comes back on, because that's how tight it is for me. So I do the intros and I film the pregame segment, and then I'm filming during the game. So a game for me starts, if it's a 7 o'clock start, I really need to be in this room by 5:30 every night if I'm really going to do it right and not rush. Now, some of the intros have been really short, and, you know, I've had to rush things. But overwhelmingly, the majority of the time, I'm in this room an hour and a half before kickoff. Wrong sport. Before the puck drops, I'm in this room. And I'm recording, and the whole time I'm editing. I have little time to interact on Twitter about 3 minutes before the game, and that's about it. So, and then, after the game comes, it's the end of the third period, game's over, I come in here, I do my thing, then I gotta edit it all, I gotta produce it, I gotta upload it. So most of the time, I'm in this room at 5:30, and a normal game, the best case scenario, the video is uploaded and done 10:30 at night. If the game runs a little bit long or it's overtime, it can easily, or if the video is a little bit long, easily 11:30 at night. So now I've done what, 6.5 hours. So that's the first part to this. It takes a toll on my personal life because, you know, who wants to be with somebody who 3-4 nights a week is committed to this 5-6 hours a night? I'm not making any money off of this. You know what I mean? I can't even get to 800 subscribers, let alone 1,000 subscribers in 4 years. So that's the first part of this. So I dropped football years ago because of the whole politics, and hockey had kind of been the last stand, right, where they weren't bringing politics into it. So season ends up the way it does, right? The lockdowns and all of that, and that's affecting everybody. I'm not gonna, and I have to include myself in that. I mean, I'm gonna be straight with you guys. In 6 months, I haven't been anywhere but the grocery store, the post office, and the doctor, and maybe Tractor Supply. I mean, I haven't been anywhere outside of this house in those areas, taking the dogs to the river. So the season ends, and they come back, and I put all this effort, and then boom, it's over in 4 games. And I kind of crashed. I didn't kind of crash. I just completely crashed. I tried to do some of the videos there where I was doing the recaps for the other teams. Wasn't getting, the people that were watching, I was getting a good response, but not a lot of people were watching. A normal video for me is about 200-300 views. I was getting about 30-40 people to watch the other ones. So that's going on. And then boom, right? All the politics comes into hockey. I'm not going to get into it other than to say I don't like it. Okay, that's just my opinion. I don't like the politics in any of the sports, and I will go so far as to say either side. I don't care what side you are. You want to say take the national anthem out of it and take the flyovers in football and just make it freaking neutral. I have no problem with that. But so I reacted. Okay, I admit it. I reacted. I went on Facebook. I went on Twitter. I said, that's it. I'm done with the NHL. I don't want to put my voice behind this. So here's the thing. Number one, that's why you guys watch. Because you watch because I'm emotional and I react. So I can't put that in a box and only react when you guys might like me to, or when it's appropriate. I'm either all in emotional or I'm not. So I reacted emotionally to that. So, but then here's the other part to that. At the same time that happened, and some of you know this, but at the same time that happened, literally at the same time, I had to go get a molar extracted. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal to you, but what happened was a couple of things. Apparently, I'm a heavy clencher, and I had a whole bunch of bone that they had to chisel through and drill through to get the tooth out. But because I had the Lyme disease, the recovery time and the pain I went through was so astronomical. I went through 2 weeks. The 2 weeks that this was going on, right when I was telling everybody I'm done with the NHL. At the same time, I literally couldn't talk. I was taking at least 2,400 milligrams of ibuprofen, plus tramadol, plus oxycodone, plus Tylenol every day. I was so drugged up and just chemically out of my mind, just on all aspects. I was angry. I was depressed. I was sad. I was just fucking miserable. There were literally, I'll be honest with you, okay? There were 3 days into 2 weeks where I told God, look, either fix me or fucking kill me because I can't stand this pain. So that was all going on at the same time. I'm like having this emotional reaction to the politics being inserted into hockey. So I'm animated at that point that I'm not coming back. But I can't make a video about it because I literally couldn't talk. And some of you might be able to tell, I'm still struggling a little bit here, especially at this point in the video. I'm still having a lot of pain. Or I'm still, moderate pain. I guess, I don't know. I don't know what to call it. I'm hurting. So here's the thing. All right, so I thought about it. So, well, there comes a time when, you're standing for your principle and you're standing your ground, but at the same time, are you harming yourself more than you would be by maybe giving a little bit? And, my feelings about the politics of the whole thing has not changed. But the more I thought about it, there's 2 things. Number one, I'm fucking miserable not making the videos. I'm just going to be straight. I'm fucking miserable not making the videos. I have to own that. And number 2, the way the world is now, and I'm sure everybody has experienced this in different ways. But the way the world is now, unless you're going to lock yourself in a room and stay away from the fucking world, you're going to have to deal with some shit that you don't want to deal with. And that took me an extra minute. And I don't want to blame the drugs with the tooth and all, and the medication. I don't want to blame that entirely, but at the same time, there definitely was part of it. I was not, and I'm telling people that I know, I'm not, chemically, I'm not right. I know I'm not right. but it was just the pain was so bad. I mean, because with the Lyme I have trigeminal neuralgia. And if you research what trigeminal neuralgia is, they nickname that the suicide disease because the pain is so excruciating that you just basically want to kill yourself. And I've had that before in '09 when I first got the Lyme, and when I was taking all this medication. And that's the other thing. Because of the Lyme, because it was so infected, not only was I taking all that pain medication, I had to take antibiotics and antifungals at the same time. So I'm in all this pain. The nausea was just brutal. It was easily far, far and away the worst 2 weeks of my life. Every fucking day for 2 weeks was the worst day of my life. It was crazy. So, that's why I stopped making the videos initially, and then that's why it's taken me so long to come back, because it's only been about the last 3 or 4 days that I could stand this distance from the camera and actually get out enough volume without excruciating pain to get to the point where I could talk and even connect. And you know what sucks is I always bitch about that 1,000 subscriber thing, right? But what have I said? I want to have 1,000 subscribers so if something happens, I can leave one of those story messages so that everybody would see it. Because you know, you can't do that unless you have 1,000 subscribers. So I'm like stuck. Unless, I mean, I suppose now, in hindsight, I could have made a video that was all subtitles, but mentally I was so screwed up I didn't even think about it. So, anyway, yeah, I'm back. Alright, that's obvious. Now, you know, my mouth is still hurting, so I don't know how many videos. I'm obviously not going to be doing daily content right now. I'm going to keep the channel active, at least, you know, 2-3 videos a week. If something happens, like, you know, somebody gets traded and all that, obviously I'm going to come on and talk about that. But one other thing I wanted to mention, you know, when I did this, when I went on Twitter and I said what I said, and on Facebook said what I said, most of the response was like, hey man, you do what you got to do, you take care of you, I understand, I'm not, you know, and there was other people that were like, yeah, I know you're coming back, and they're right. But there was a couple people who got really, really, really personally nasty. They didn't do it publicly because they made fake accounts, but I had people sending me direct messages, calling me all sorts of horrible names. I had somebody who contacted me through my business website and was using the Contact Us page and were just sending me horrible, nasty messages. And so that was happening at the same time. So when I started getting those nasty messages from people, I was like, I'm doing the right thing. I kind of felt like at that point I was doing the right thing. That kind of used that as confirmation. So, you know, I know that person, whoever that is, or 2 people, whatever it is, are still out there. I'm sorry you're such an angry person, but I'm not going to let that stop me. So, the only other thing I have to say about that is that, for those of you who have followed me long enough, I think from now on what I'm going to do is at the end of the hockey season, when hockey's over, I'm just going to just step away and take 2 weeks. Because this pretty much has happened to me every year. Now, this has been different. But every other season, after the season, there's been about 2 weeks where I'm just so emotionally and creatively drained that I just drop off the face of the planet. And every year I do the same thing. I say, I don't want to leave the channel with no content, and then I can't do it anyway because I'm just so wasted. So I think from now on what I'm going to do is, whenever the last Panther game is, I'm going to take 2 weeks. That's just what I'm going to do. And I know that kind of hurts me in the sense of, you know, if I want to do other NHL content, and obviously if you've been following me long enough, I reserve the right to change my mind. But somehow, some way, I need to find a way to come through with what I want to come through with the amount of content, but at the same time, finding a way to take a break without feeling guilty about it. Because like I explained in the beginning, it takes a toll. And I want to stick to it. I want to stay to it. I love doing it. But at the same time, I have to find a way to mitigate what it's doing to the other parts of my life. So, all right. That is enough for that for the 3 of you who are left watching at this point. So, Mike Matheson is gone. I'm back, and that's the end of the video. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'm sure I will be back within a few days unless we trade Barkov while I'm filming this, and then I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.